So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste and a very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talks 208th episode. In the last 207 episodes, we have talked to, interacted with more than 3,000 educationists and school leaders on this very platform, where they've shared their ideas, opinions, innovations, and what all new are they doing in the education space. तो नमस्कार, आप सभी का स्वागत है ब्लब वर्ल्ड वेब टॉक्स के 208वें एपिसोड में। पिछले 207 एपिसोड में हमने करीबन 3000 से ज्यादा शिक्षाविदों से बातचीत की और उनसे ये समझने की कोशिश की कि वो शिक्षा को कैसे बदल रहे हैं और शिक्षा उन्हें कैसे बदल रही है। तो आज के अगले 60 मिनट जो आप हमारे साथ हैं, हम वापस एक अमेजिंग लाइनअप ऑफ गेस्ट के साथ बातचीत करेंगे और उनसे एक यूनिक चैलेंज के बारे में बात करेंगे जो कि एजुकेशन स्पेस में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्रिटिकल है एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली उसका सोल्यूशन बहुत ही ज्यादा क्रिटिकल है फॉर ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल हेल्थ एंड वेल बीइंग। संस्थाओं की अपनी हेल्थ के लिए उसका जवाब बहुत क्रिटिकल है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट एज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, हाउ डू यू बिल्ड योर परसेप्शन of belief so that people trust you, and at the same time, how do you handle the difficult stakeholders? So we have an amazing lineup of guests with us today as well for this session. But before we start, just some ground rules. So the Blub World Web Talks is a speaking sprint. Don't think of it as a speaking marathon. ये 100 मीटर की रेस है. So the speaking time is limited. So once your speaking time is over, you might get muted. If you get muted, please don't get offended. It's just to keep the activity interesting and crisp for everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It is a bilingual platform, so you can use English or Hindi, any of these two languages. Please don't use the third one because I might not get it. भाषा कभी भी ज्ञान का पैमाना नहीं होता, तो जिस भाषा में आप कंफर्टेबल हो, अंग्रेजी या हिंदी में से, आप अपनी बात रख सकते हैं। बस कोशिश कीजिए कि आपकी बात सुनने वाला समझ पाए और शायद अपने जीवन में आत्मसात कर पाए। Thank you so much everyone for joining us today in the 208th episode of the Blub World Web Talks. Let's know from these experts that what are the techniques, what are the ideas, what are the solutions that they use for handling difficult parents. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me invite the first speaker for today to initiate the roundtable. A very warm welcome to Professor VNR Pillai, the Vice Chancellor for Somaiya, Vidyavihar, Mumbai from Maharashtra. Professor VNR, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome to the session.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I am in the higher education system for the last 51 years, but I know the school education in the country very well, and it is a very important topic which you have selected. Handling the parents, particularly for the school education, that is the most difficult and challenging task. The first and foremost in handling the parents what is needed is knowing the parents, knowing the background of the children. Children may be coming from different social, cultural, belief, religious backgrounds. And it is very important that and economic background also. And it is very important that the teachers know the children and their family background. What are their parents? How to communicate with them. The language may be a barrier. The communication style may be a barrier, but it's very important that we familiarize them ourselves as teachers. We familiarize ourselves with the parents, understand their social, cultural, economic background, their job, all sorts of things, and a discrete understanding is very necessary. Only when you understand the parents and only when you understand the context of the family surroundings under which a child comes to the school, you can really find out the difficulties of even the child. Probably even the learning background, learning capabilities will be based on that. And therefore, knowing the parents, their social, cultural, economic background is very important. And this, of course, we have the teacher organizations and all. They are all formal, but it's very important to know one-to-one the parents. It's very important. It should be possible. It should happen. If you just look at the many of the untoward things happening in schools and all that, it is because of the lack of understanding of the cultural and social background of the parents. And therefore, as a school organization, as teachers, individually and collectively, there has to be a strategic approach for understanding the background of the parents. That is my first thinking about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this amazing start. I think you gave it the right context, that understanding the context is everything before you actually start dealing with people. Let me try to summarize and take some of the points ahead. Knowing the parent and children is the foundation of actually handling that parent or handling that stakeholder. Background check and analysis, that's very critical to this. Understanding language barriers and communication barriers, because most of the times the problem is not that you have not understood everything. The problem is that they are not able to understand what you want to say or communicate. Secondly, social, cultural, economic background, everything has to be checked holistically, and you must not only have an opinion into it, you must have a researched outcome of it. That, okay, you know that, okay, this is the way I am going to handle this kind of a stakeholder. And finally, the biggest challenges that arise in this education space happen because of lack of understanding of the stakeholder. So there should be a lot of effort that has to be put into that, who is actually the receiver of your communication, or who is finally, consuming the content that you might be creating. Thank you so much, sir. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Ms. Charu Srivastava, the Director Principal for the Samarth School from Delhi. Charu ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
Thank you, Daksh. Thank you so much for inviting me. Congratulations to you and your team for organizing this, because this is a very important topic for the school age people who are involved in school education. So मैं आपको ये बताना चाहूँगी that I'll be bilingual, and apart from being a director principal, I am also an English teacher. मैं पढ़ाती भी हूँ, and I teach English. So while I'm correcting answers and I'm noting down all the points that children write in the answer scripts, we have a lesson in which the author says that paper is more patient than people. So, and the answers that I receive on teenage issues from my children, they say that our parents don't listen to us. एक गलती मुझे लगता है educationists या principals या teachers ये भी करते हैं, that we don't listen to our parents. I think the first thing to handle parents is to empathize with them. So there are, I think, two kinds of parents. One set would feel जैसे हम बड़े हुए हैं तो ऐसे हमारे बच्चे भी बड़े होने चाहिए, same moral, same kind of education. And the other ones feel that whatever we did not receive in our life, our children should receive. Both the parents want the best for their children. So I think it is very important to start building trust with them and make them understand that we are partners. And like I always tell my parents कि बच्चा सर आपका नहीं, बच्चा हमारा है. So you are equally a stakeholder in your child's transformation as we are. So setting the expectations for the child's transformational journey in school along with the parent is one thing that I think should be done. Then if they have any concerns, I think it's very important to lend a ear. We have to listen to them very patiently, understand from them what their expectations, and if they have any complaints, sometimes they do have complaints also, we should listen to them empathetically, because they don't mean any harm to the school or to anybody else. That will help us building and enforcing and enhancing the relationship with them. Then there are so many activities in the school, like sir abhi bata rahe the, that checking the background of the parents. So I think it's very important to involve them in various activities in the school. That also strengthens the relationship, and it helps us better to handle them whenever there are any challenges or any celebrations in the school. There are so many housewives, who were once teachers, who are educated, but they kind of sacrifice their professional life for the sake of their children's career. So we can invite them. I invite my teachers, parents, to take substitutions and to teach and take extra classes. So once you involve them, it strengthens the bond, I think. And giving them no surprises. Whatever you are planning for the children, please tell them कि भाई आज मैंने एक पेरेंट को बोला कि आपका बच्चा मुझे अब्यूज करते हुए मिला, अगली बार मिलेगा तो मैम मैं ये करने वाली हूँ, आपको पहले से बता रही हूँ. So don't be surprised if your child tells you कि आज मैम ने मुझसे गार्डन की सफाई करवाई. So I think the parent should be told what the school is going to be, what the school is all about, what our philosophy is, and keeping your tone friendly, empathetic, that does the magic. That is what I feel. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Charu ma'am. And I think a very apt statement जिससे आपने शुरुआत करी अपने conversation की, that paper is more patient than people. ये बात हकीकत है, but the challenge is people only buy from people. ये marketing का concept है. तो भले ही आप कितने भी कागज लिख दीजिए, कितने भी लोगों तक पहुंचा दीजिए, उन्हें communication आपके मुंह से ही सुनना है. So I think some very important points. Let's take them ahead. Empathy with parents, empathize with them, listen to them, talk to them. Parents want their zamana to come back in the classroom. उन्हें चाहिए जैसे हमारी परवरिश हुई है वैसे ही बच्चों की परवरिश हो. From customers to partners, ये जो transition है, ये transition maximum institutions नहीं करवा पाते हैं. इंस्टीट्यूशन का फाउंडर भले ही वो फीलिंग को रख ले या वो अपने रिलेशनशिप में भले ही वो कर लेगा, बट एज एन इंस्टीट्यूशन या एज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आप ये अगर कर पाए तो ये शायद सबसे बड़ी सक्सेस है, व्हेन यू नो गिव देम दैट जर्नी फ्रॉम अ कस्टमर और अ कंज्यूमर टू योर पार्टनर. Listening is everything, and I think this should be the motto of every institution head, that listen to everything that comes to you before you speak out anything. Parent involvement in whichever way you can, and I think a very nice concluding statement: let's not give anyone any surprises. Let them be prepared for what's going to come in the future. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Ms. Sangeeta Sharma, the principal of Parevatan School from Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh. Sangeeta, ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes, and a very warm welcome.
Namaste, everyone. I am Sangeeta. Very good pointers raised by earlier speakers. That is, background check and everything, and listening. I think half of the problem gets resolved at the level of listening only. When there are difficult parents, there are authoritative parents, there are helicopter parents, there is a new term which is coming as lawn movers, who do not want to have any struggle in their child's life. So I have every kind of parent. So the best thing is that your communication channel should be always open. There should be 3 C's in your school philosophy. One is connect, care, and communicate. That has to be absolutely followed right from the principal or till the guard at the entry level. And depending upon the urgency of the thing, never refuse a parent that we cannot meet you today. Nothing is more important than a problem of a child or a parent if they want to come to you. And though we appreciate if they take an appointment, so we finish our homework first. But if there is an urgency and he's insisting that he would like to meet, my team has an standing instruction that if he's feeling that he wants to meet me today, you tell them that ma'am meets with appointment, but today I'm making you meet her because you are seeking an appointment. So, and you need to build up trust. The principal or the head of the institution cannot be in a glass cubicle and not willing to meet anybody. The time is such when if you look at CBSE, even the RO is talking to us at 12 o'clock at night. So we cannot have compartments and departments that आप उसके process के through आइए. वो protocol समझने की जरूरत नहीं है. कभी-कभी उसको skip भी करना पड़ता है. So once that trust is built, I have these kinds of parents with me. वो बोलते हैं आपका बच्चा है, आपको जो करना है कर लो. ऐसे भी हैं और ऐसे भी हैं कि जिसको आपने अगर जरा सा ये कह दिया कि why did you do that, अगले दिन वो parent आ जाएगा धरना देने आपके पास. So you should know how to balance it. Knowing your parent is very important. Trust is very important. Care, communication is very important. And listening empathetically is the most important thing. पर उसके टाइम पे जब वो पेरेंट बोल रहा होता है, उस इनिशियली आप सुनते रहो, पर आपकी स्ट्रैटेजी बैक ऑफ द माइंड में इट शुड स्टार्ट बिल्डिंग अप, क्या मुझे इसको कहाँ करेक्ट करना है. करेक्शन एंड सेटिंग द एक्सपेक्टेशन राइट फ्रॉम ईच अदर is also a very critical factor. So I also feel if we have made a mistake as an organization, we should be able to acknowledge it. That is the learning, that is the one thing that generally I have seen teachers and schools do not agree. Okay, हमसे गलती हो गई, वो कोई नहीं मानता. सब प्रूव करने की कोशिश करते हैं कि हमसे गलती हुई, पर इसलिए हुई, वो नहीं. वो मान लीजिए अगर, तो आधा गुस्सा तो वहीं ठंडा हो जाता है. Fine. So I also feel that, and you have to meaningfully involve. You have to make them know that whatever decisions I am taking, it is in the interest of the child and of yours. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta ma'am. I think a very nice term that you started with, the lawnmower parent. ऐसा पेरेंट जो कि सारे स्ट्रगल्स बच्चों के जीवन से हटा देना चाहता है, एंड चाहता है फिर भी उसकी लर्निंग हो जाए. कनेक्ट, केयर, कम्युनिकेट, 3 चीज ऐसे जो कि इंस्टीट्यूशन के हेड से लेकर के आपके दरवाजे पे खड़े सिक्योरिटी गार्ड तक फॉलो हो जाए. आई थिंक जस्ट दी 3 C's के साथ में बहुत सारा कंटेंट चाहिएगा ताकि ये एग्जीक्यूशन में आ पाए. नेवर मिसिंग अ पेरेंट मीटिंग. इफ द पेरेंट इज एट योर डोर, जस्ट find a way to do that meeting in whichever way possible. And correcting the expectations. This is something where maximum, what you can say, friction happens or comes into place. And this can only happen through a very structured slow-mo mode. Otherwise, the parent would not come on the same page. And I think a very nice concluding touch. that taking onus, अगर गलती हो गई है तो उसे मान लीजिए, क्योंकि वो आपको छोटा जरूर नहीं बनाएगी लेकिन आपको रिस्पॉन्सिबल जरूर बना देगी. So thank you so much, Sangeeta ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Manoj Kumar Pandey, the principal of Darshan Academy from Sundargarh, Odisha. Manoj ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes and a very warm welcome.
Thank you, Daksh. Namaskar to Scholar of Galaxy and everyone. Thanks to this Blub World Web Talks, where you are taken this very beautiful topic, handling the difficult parents, and which is the nerve of every school, how to handle and how to make them their future parents. Okay. So definitely, as my friends all said, that social cultural background and empathy, we and care communicate. Yes. So means a strong point has already been put up. I am agree with all those my friends. And certainly, if any of the parents is over there, they are difficult because of their mindset. Something they have set in the mind that this is wrong, and they are like a volcano. A lot of things they are having, and they want to meet immediately to the principal or reception and one window solution. And first, we have to listen them very patiently, and better if we could offer them tea or coffee, so they start listening us also. And sometimes they say this problem, that problem. You just note down the problem, and then you come on the top point wise. Then you will get that hardly 1 or 2 things are over there for which they were making a mole to a mountain, raising like anything and inflating like anything. So their inflation will be down and everything. The bulb will be down. So just we just let them provide the platform. It's okay. Have a cool down, sit down. I will listen, and ensuring that I know your child, I care your child. And when they come to know that I sometimes knowing more to their child rather than them psychologically and physically, they are surprised to know all these things. And then they start respecting our views. Initially, they do not respect us. They actually respect our ideas, views, and our analysis we have with us. And this way, we are able to tackle them so nicely. So we need to tackle them delicately with a smile and assuring that we are going to give them the solutions. And if they have any agitation, yes, we should not deny, as the madam said, we should say, yes, this is the topic. And if it has been mishandled, it will be handled. So we go for the solution, and the parents get happy. And finally, they should move from the office with the smile, with the good smile, big smile and thanks. So this is our way of them. So it all depends. Since we want to know their culture, we have to show our culture. And one thing, the last thing is that, yes, everything is difficult, but difficulty is in the mind. Because we are an educationist, we know how to resolve the difficulties of the parents. So the problem may be big for them, but for us, every day we are making the solutions of the problem. So if, as one madam said, whatever we are busy, we should give them the time. If we will give the time, we have the solution. So finally, I will say that every problem has the solution. We should make the parents happy, and they should feel that we have the problem for their solutions and factual things we know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manoj sir. The 3 minutes were over. We will try to come back to you. Some important points that you said. The parent mindset has to be softened. इतना जल्दी आप parent mindset soften कर पाएंगे एक meeting के अंदर नहीं कर पाएंगे. This is a challenge. Pacification से शुरू कीजिए कि जहां आप you offer them some kind of a some kind of a beverage that cools them down and they're ready to talk. क्योंकि वो जब बात करने आएंगे तो it's not just the conversation, there is an emotion that comes with it. उस emotion और conversation को अलग अलग कर पाना is the first challenge. वो आपने जैसे ही कर लिया तब आप बातचीत आगे कर पाएंगे. Importantly, showing them that you care. ये बहुत critical है कि उन्हें समझ में आना चाहिए कि अगर वो कुछ बोल रहे हैं तो आपको उससे फर्क पड़ता है. Finally, कहीं ना कहीं you have to make them realize that you know a little bit more about their child than them, because ye realization kicks in the respect for you. And that's where the actually that argument converts into a conversation, कि जहाँ पे वो सारा emotion fuse out हो जाता है और conversation बातचीत पे आ जाता है. So thank you so much, sir. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Vikrant, Vashisht, the Deputy Director for Marketing for deemed to be University, Mulana, Ambala, Haryana. Vikrant ji, over to you for the next 3 minutes and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much. Warm welcome to all. As Manoj sir has earlier said, this is very, very important that we must have a positive mindset. What goes around, that comes around. That is very, very important. If we will begin our communication with that kind of mindset that they are going to be a, difficult parents or with the difficult mindset, the conversation will start in that way only. If we are ready to give positive, wise, positive, aura, positive communication to them, then they are going to accept it. But it should be based on the two, three main factors. One is the suggestion should be logical. Number two, it should be the best in terms of their mindset, because all the parents carrying different mindset. So it should be in alliance or coordinates with the mindset of the parents, so that they can understand what that organization or the people are trying to convey the message. And at the same time, we need to maintain the balance between rules, guidelines, or guiding principles of the organization, institutions, or schools, as well as the best of fitting with the behavior and nature of their parents. So I would say there are three most important terms. One is connection. Second stage of this connection is communication. And third one is counseling or solution. We need to understand one most important factor, that if parent is fussy or something or showing a difficult or hard behavior, it means he or she is in problem. Number one. Number two, they are having certain set of expectations. So in this regard, I would like to quote the the quotation from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. They says, कोई भी person जब आपके पास आता है, वो तीन वजहों से आता है: भाव, abhav, and prabhav. Bhav means when you are having connection with the teachers, with the school. Number one. Number two, abhav. They are lacking something and they are not able to produce that in terms of helping their kids, helping or matching with the expectations of the organization. And number three is prabhav. When they are having very high expectations from the teachers, from the principal, from directors, that they are going to build the future of their kid. So these are three most important factors. So in this sense, connection means perfect level of communication, take them to the easy state of mind, and realize them that they are part of our organization or they are part of this system, and they are again going to play an important role and participation in the solution of that particular problem. Number one. Then there is communication. It should be very, very clear. It should be very precise. It should be up to the mark in the context and language of the student.
Thank you so much, Vikrant. The first 3 minutes were over, but we'll try to come back to you. तो आपने जो बातें कही, आई थिंक क्योंकि गीता आप सभी जगह पे है, हमारे राजनीतिक परिदृश्य में भी है, सामाजिक में भी है, सब जगह है, तो इस कॉन्वर्सेशन में भी ले आते हैं. तो भाव, अभाव और प्रभाव, तीन ही कारण है कि पेरेंट आपके पास है, या तो कनेक्शन की वजह से, या कोई ऐसी चीज है जो कि एक्सपेक्टेशन थी और पूरी नहीं हो रही, और तीसरी कि या वो आपसे इतना ज्यादा इंप्रेस्ड है दैट ही वांट्स टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ द कन्वर्सेशन इन व्हिच एवर वे. आई थिंक अगर तीसरे कारण से आता है तो दैट्स द बेस्ट मोड दैट अ पेरेंट कैन कम टू यू इन. And I think a very important thing that you said, ki, how do you create that balance between the institutional rules and the parents' expectations? And how, are you able to make a sweet blend of it? Because agar wo blend aapne sahi se bana liya, that's where the balance lies. That's where the solution is. Thank you so much, Vikrant ji. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Smita Mishra, the principal of Carl Huber School from Noida, Uttar Pradesh. Smita ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes and a very warm welcome.
So this is a very interesting platform and the topic is so interesting. So I'll just share my points because I have to connect with the 3 minutes in a time slot given. So first point that we do, maybe the suggestion is you can also share with others, like we do KYC of each and every child. KYC means know your child. So before the session ends, what we tell our teachers that when you are handing over your children to the next, in charge, class in charge, so complete KYC kariye. Means know your child, the background. क्योंकि आजकल social financial problems के अलावा the children are coming from broken marriages. ये सबसे बड़ा point है. So there the frustration from the children, the aggression, the behavioral symptoms of the child is not only related to the other things, but mostly related to the family problems. So in that way, we have to deal accordingly with the parent. Sometimes ये भी हमारे साथ हुआ है कि father is saying, let my child not meet mother. Mother is saying, let my child not meet father. So in this way, the counseling is so important. And second thing, what we follow, that we have an orientation program for our parents, because we know that parents also grow along with their children. Even if a kindergarten parent you have to deal them differently. And if you are dealing a parent of the primary wing, you have to deal with them differently. Senior wing differently. Because parents का mindset बच्चों के साथ साथ बदलता रहता है, उनकी priorities बदलती रहती हैं. So listening them patiently, then counseling them patiently, and then अगर कोई parent बड़े aggression में आता है हमारे पास, we never should do like we have to protect our teachers, protect our school, तो हम भी तलवार निकाल लें. क्योंकि the parent का भी main aim है is the child, हमारा भी main aim है child. So let us listen. पहले सुनिए, इसके बजाय उनके आप जवाब दे, उनसे सवाल करें फिर जवाब दे. इज बेटर लिसन देम. मैं तो पानी का गिलास रख देती हूँ, आप आराम से पीजिए और फिर अपनी बात करिए. पानी का गिलास पीने के 2 मिनट तक तो शांत हो जाते हैं. And then when they start communicating, then you start assertive mode of communication. Assertive means be firm, but do not be rude. Listening patiently, जैसे चारू श्रीवास्तव मैम ने बोला कि बहुत अच्छी बात बोली, तो 3 C's हैं. Connect, communicate and counsel. मनोज पांडे सर ने भी बोला, अभी जो सबने पहले बात की हमारे स्पीकर्स ने. So we all are agreeing on that point, that listening to the parent patiently is the most important point. And if we do KYC of each and every child, एक anecdotal अगर हम बनाए हर बच्चे का और वो हम नेक्स्ट क्लास इंचार्ज को पास ऑन करें, तो द पेरेंट का बैकग्राउंड, बच्चे का बैकग्राउंड, फैमिली का बैकग्राउंड हमें पहले से ही पता रहेगा. So we will deal with the child according to that situation. So I think वो problem इतनी फिर hyper होकर के हमारे तक नहीं आएंगी. So I think my 3 minutes are over, sir. Before you unmute me, I will rest my speech here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Smita ma'am. So some very important points. I think this banking policy of KYC, knowing your customer to knowing your child, is very important. Building a portfolio of the whole classroom, that building the backstories of everyone. So it's basically a story portfolio जो आप create कर रहे हैं. जो story portfolio will finally be moving ahead to the next class leader. Family issues creeping into the school. There's something that's actually happening. Letting everyone focus on the child, asserting your presence, but being very, very humble in your communication. And I think एक चीज जो आपके पूरे उसके conversation में central रही is the story behind everyone. वो जो story behind everyone है, that will set the tone of handling them, managing them, and creating a convenient, cogent atmosphere. So thank you so much, Smita ji. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Pushpinder Kaur, the principal of Army Public Schools, Damanna, Jammu and Kashmir. Pushpinder ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much, Daksh, for inviting me on this forum. I'm really glad to be on this forum, and the topic given is, of course, very relevant because everybody must be feeling the same problem. We all are dealing with school children. More or less problems are same all over the world if we analyze these problems. I very strongly believe that one who smiles rather than the rages is always the stronger. Why? So, because when you are welcoming or receiving a parent with a smile, half of the problems will be over. And the second thing is, receive him and provide him with a comfortable seat. When he'll be feeling like he is being given importance, of course, the things will be sorted out. I mean, the temperature with which he is coming will be down. And then, of course, offer a glass of water, offer a cup of tea, because he is also, make him feel that the parent is an important stakeholder of the institution. We very strongly believe at APS Damana that school is a triangle. Why it is in the form of a triangle? Like the parent, the school, and the child. We three need to be connected very strongly to each other if we have to, because parent and the school, they have to work very closely towards the betterment of the child. So communication should be very clear between the two. Things should not come as surprise for a parent. It's very important that parents should be updated regularly, whatever activities and other progresses are going on in the school, whether it is academic, other co-curricular activities, or the behavior whatsoever. There should be very strong communication between the school and the parent. So there should be no communication gap. Many a times this happens that the language which we use is not appropriate, because words are having sometimes maybe 2 or 3 meanings. There are synonyms also. So what I'm trying to convey, what the parent is receiving, it should be very clear in what direction we are talking about. And of course, for both of us, the child is the priority, because after this COVID, number of this behavioral changes have occurred. Academics and other things are on one side, but psychological issues are on one side. So we being on school, we are dealing with more number of children. We are exposed to more number of problems. Maybe child is having 2 or 3 children, so they are exposed to very little issues, little problems, and they become frustrated very quickly, we can say. But we have more experience. We can share their problems. They should be allowed to speak about the problems. We should listen to the problems very patiently. And many a times we are able to give them solutions, and should, develop their trust that these solutions are for the betterment of the child. It's very important to gain the trust of the parent that he is very important part of the school. And whatever suggestions the parents are giving, we are implementing the suggestions to the school. And this gives them more confidence. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I think the central theme for your course is range. कि आप जो पूरा welcome communication कर रहे हो किस तरीके का है, how are you setting them in place, triangular principle school का कि सारे stakeholders एक साथ कहाँ आके convene हो जाते हैं, and making a parent feel important. I think अगर ये किसी न किसी तरीके से स्कूल में हो पाता है, that the parent is able to feel that yes, I am wanted, I am a part of the conversation, this problem gets nearly solved. So now we have listened to all the speakers for once, but before we go into the open floor, let's listen once more to the most senior member of the panel today. VNR sir, over to you for the next 2 or 3 minutes for your concluding remarks. सारे school leaders की बातचीत सुन के, what do you feel? Anything that you want to add? Any suggestion, any advice that you want to give out of the long, heavy experience that you have in the education space? Pillai sir, over to you for the next 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. Of course, I have been listening to the real teachers and principals who are in the schools, and these points are very relevant. Now, how technology, for example, the social media, can be effectively used to connect with parents. That is also very important. Probably one has to just look at. I know that well-endowed schools in the country will be doing that, but at the same time, we have to ensure that this is happening. Even in the, Mofussil and village schools, such things are happening. And now connectivity could be a problem, but if we have, and then children are coming from different backgrounds. Some may have the connectivity, the parents may have connectivity. So we have to just look at probably each parent and each child. Of course, earlier somebody mentioned about KYC, know your child. Similarly, know the child parents very, very effectively. That is very important. We have to make use of the social media. And then difficult parents dealing with there cannot be, we cannot even call any parent a difficult parent, because it is because of the circumstances. Even using the term a difficult parent should be avoided. These are all sensitive issues. So probably we have to find out what is the reason for that quotation, in quotation, difficult, and how we can handle it. And then I would even request that the schools of course have a lot of experiences in this field. Maybe good case studies of dealing with parents, dealing with so-called difficult parents, overcoming that challenges, that should be made available as some sort of a success stories and case to other schools as well. So even this discussion with this 8-9 people, this discussion, we got lot of, and of course, I thank you and your team, BlubWorld, for doing this exercise. Communication, this effective communication is happening amongst us, and such communication should also happen with parents very effectively. We make social media, and then success stories of overcoming such difficulties in schools. We have heard different perceptions. This should also be made available to the school organizations. That's my final comments on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And I think a very important thing, let's start building case studies on how are you handling difficult parents? What are the solutions that you found that were successful? What are the solutions that you think can surpass boundaries, surpass, regionality, surpass your institutional challenges? Find out the universal values of handling the difficult consumer or customer. I would not use the term parent because it is controversial, but I think talking about controversy gives solutions to it. So let's be a little more open, but yes, a very important element. Let's start writing down our experiences. Let's start creating a repository that is shareable. The reason the Blub World Web Talks was established in the last 200 episodes, this is the major work that Blub World Web Talks has done. We try to share the best practices, the ideas, the new things that institutions are doing within their walls so that they can surpass boundaries and everyone can use the good parts of it. So now before the call comes to an end, we have the final 4 or 5 minutes for an open floor. If you missed out onto anything, if you got muted, if you want to add something to the conversation, please take a minute to do so and then we'll move ahead. Yes, Sangeeta ma'am, over to you. But just take a minute, please try to conclude quickly.
Very quickly, I would like to say, I generally follow a 4 A's approach. When the parent comes in, I find out something to, comment on in a positive manner. That is called as appreciation. Oh, we are meeting after a long time today. I am sure there must be a reason. So that is one. Second is ask the reason for being upset or what is the reason and start making notes of it. Third is apprehend. तो उसके बाद फिर दोबारा से confirm करो कि this is what I have understood about your problem. I think you and I are on the same page or I am thinking something else. And उसकी बात सुनने के बाद advise last में दो. I have taught all my teachers this 4 A's approach. And, it has kind of affected in a very effective manner to resolve cases. अभी तक जहाँ तक मुझे याद आ रहा है, I have been with the school for last 20 years. 18 साल पहले ही एक बार मेरा बहस हुआ था एक पेरेंट के साथ और उसके बाद से मेरे पास से अगर बंदा जाता है तो वो ये कहता है कि आपसे मिलते ही सारी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाती है.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta ma'am. I think वो 4 A's carry forward करेंगे. Appreciate, ask, apprehend and finally advise. क्योंकि बहुत बार वो एडवाइस सबसे पहले आ जाती है और बाकी सारे हम एज भूल जाते हैं.
हम टीचर्स को आदत होती है ना एडवाइस देने की बहुत ज्यादा.
Absolutely. The teacher thinks the world is a student. So that's the problem. Yes, Smita ma'am, over to you.
As Pillai sir discussed about the case studies, as you know that now health and wellness program has been initiated by CBSE in collaboration with UNESCO. So there are 11 modules in that. And the module is about emotional well-being, mental well-being, values and citizenship. So these 2-3 modules leading a healthy lifestyle. So, and there are so many good case studies given in those modules. So what we do, we have a parent orientation and we take once in a month, we take these modules and we practice these case studies with them. Because see, these are the common topics. Emotional well-being, if it is being oriented with the parent or the student or the other stakeholders, so it is going to have the same impact. If the emotional well-being of the parent is taken care of, obviously the child is being taken care of. So these kind of good initiatives are given by the CBSE. So we can have these kind of training sessions for the teachers on these programs, that is health and wellness awareness program. So this is my point. If it can be taken, so this is very good. Because and a book is being launched, a manual is there on this, a training manual. It is already available at the CBSE website. So if the leaders of the school can take this initiative and give this orientation program for the parent, so and have these case studies discussed with the parent, that's going to create an impact.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, Charu ma'am, over to you.
Daksh, I just wanted to say two things. One was that VNR sir mentioned slightly, he mentioned about technology. I think it's very important for us to use technology as a mode of communication with the parent. So when you talk about very simple things like sending some parenting tips or sending some messages to, kind of what children think and maybe some answers that the children gave or some, dwindling question that the child had asked or something which is very, very, which can be appreciated. I think that also helps us establishing trust. That's very, very important. And I think when we use technology, so, actually, and then when it comes to technology, the second point I wanted to say was you talked about, creating case studies on how to handle parents. Believe me, during the lockdown, the class I taught, we created together a tech manual for parents because they said, ma'am, we have opened all our secrets on how to go from one page to another while attending class. We are playing PUBG. So why not ask them to give solutions on good parenting? Because if they are the ones telling us, ma'am, our parents don't listen to us, they're not interested in us, they ask the most boring question the moment we get down from the bus. Aaj lunch khaya, diary mein homework mila. Ma'am, there are so many questions they can ask us. So, what are these questions that the children are expecting? I mean, the children tell me, ma'am, the parents always judge us. These elders, they always judge. All the activities are for the primaries, and the moment we grow up, they feel we are the most boring people on the planet, and there are no activities, only padhai and all the CBSE, jhagdas. So I think it's important when, the Yashpal committee report came, it talked about involving teachers in curriculum drafting. And this time when we're talking about handling parents, it's high time that we involve children in drafting these, stories and these documents. It's very important to involve parents because they are the ones at the receiving end. We are not there. It's actually handling parents by the students also. They also, sometimes come under the bridge. So these are the things I wanted to add on.
Thank you so much, Charu. I think very important points. Let the foot soldier be the student himself. Let him start, creating that rule book. Let him start creating that case studies. I think this was the very belief where we as an organization got established because we said in the complete education space, the biggest challenge that teenagers or children face is that we are not interesting enough for them. So to make things interesting, we thought, let's try and find stories of teenagers who are doing amazingly well in life and share their stories with many more teenagers. And that's where the idea of Blub World as a publication came into existence. Every month, we try to find out teenagers who are doing amazingly well in life and share their stories with many more teenagers across the world. While doing this for so many years, we realized, let's create a power organization where we establish the world's first and the biggest parliament of teenagers, which is the World Teen Parliament, in partnership with UNESCO and Save the Children. And currently, the initiative is appreciated by the Supreme Court Bar Association of India. This is a non-profit initiative of the Blub World Foundation, where we ask teenagers that, do you have any ideas that can improve the world? Share those with us. Let people support you, and the World Teen Parliament will fund you. And last year, in January, we established the first World Teen Parliament with 100 teenagers. Those 100 teenagers have been working for the last 1 year on amazing issues. They have done some amazing work, and the World Teen Parliament has supported them through parliamentary sessions, discussions, and they have at least talked to 20 or 30 super influential people, including the heads of the World Economic Forum, from the head of UNESCO, from the head of United Nations resident coordinators, to sitting member of parliaments of India, Canada, from many countries. The idea is simple. If you really want change to happen, it has to come from the future generation. We cannot lead the change for the future because we no more are the future. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of the Blub World Web Talks. This was the 208th episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, and if you want to attend the future sessions, open your audio, say a big yes, and thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you, people.